Binance today is around 220 million users. How do you get to 2 billion? Today I sit down with CEO of Binance, Richard Teng,
I think that this is just the beginning, right? We are at a very, very early stage.
about what comes next for the largest crypto exchange in the world.
Ourselves, we have secured our 19th regulatory approval globally.
I question Richard about why Binance is better than the competition. Why is Binance better than Coinbase? Their relationship with the BNB token. What is Binance Exchange's relationship with the BNB token? And watch today's whole video as we also discuss much more. CZ is about to be free after 4 months in prison. Thoughts on that? Click the like button to support me. And let's start, Richard. How'd you first get into crypto?
Sure. Thanks for having me on the show, Austin. So my background has mainly been in financial services, and I spent quite a fair bit of time as a financial services regulator in my career. I discovered crypto right around 2017, March. Right? Binance was established in July 2017. So just around that time, I was actually in Boca Raton, attending a Futures Industry Association conference, which I go on an annual basis. And at that conference, what strikes me was there's a lot of crypto boys starting to come through, expounding this, and it intrigues me. So the more I understand about this space, I firmly then believe that this is going to be the future of finance and the future of many industry, right? But at that point in time, if you remember 2017, it was still very early days, right? So if you look at crypto adoption today, 5 to 6%, but at that point in time was very, very early stage. And my thesis then, and which I still stand by today, is that for crypto to really go mainstream, to really expound on the use cases, you need two dimensions to come into play. Firstly, you need clearer regulatory framework to really support users in their crypto journey, right? And give clarity to crypto players the boundaries to operate in. And then secondly, with that, the institutions will start to come in. And with institution liquidity, that will really bring it forth, right? And you're going to do a lot more research into this space. You're going to, distribute it more widely. So 2024 has been a landmark year because we see that coming into play now with the approval of ETF, not only in the States, but places like Hong Kong, Brazil, Australia, Canada, you name it, right? So it has gone, this year we have seen it gone mainstream. We have seen more and more regulators really coming into this space to provide clarity in terms of regulatory framework that regulate this space.
Do you think 2024, like people have always talked about since 2017 before, mass adoption? This year, in a sense, we've got that. This space is so much more regulated. The big players are entering. Is there anything left? Like this could this be the last great onboarding year?
I think that this is just the beginning, right? We are at a very, very early stage, right? So this year you see approval of ETF. That is only, to me, that's only the beginning, right? So if you look at crypto adoption, is still relatively early. There are various barometers that we measure based on that front. If you just look at our user base, right? So Binance today has about 220 million users. The first 100 million users took us 5 years to onboard. The second 100 million users took us 2 years to onboard. So you see the pace of adoption is getting very quick. So the third 100 million users will take us a shorter period of time. So if you go by that exponential effect, this year alone, we saw 36% increase in terms of institutions coming to us. And you see a lot more, but we're just starting, right? So as Jenny Johnson from Fidelity, the CEO of Fidelity, put it very well, we're at a very, very early stage of allocations by institutions into this space, by corporates, high net worth individual. So we are at I don't think we are even at the first inning. So I remain very bullish about what's going to happen going into the future.
How has Binance changed since you took over from CZ? Because many people got to know Binance through CZ, the founder.
Absolutely. So CZ is an inspirational, charismatic leader. So CZ was a founder CEO, right? So he started this enterprise way back in 2017, right? Again, very early adopter when many people don't believe in this space. So if I bring you back to the landscape in 2017, none of the global regulators were looking at this space seriously. The institutions were saying that no, this is a passing fad, you will not stay, right? So, but he and the early team really believe in it, really supported many of our users in terms of their crypto journey, right? So I think he has transformed the industry in many of those sense. I am quite different. So when I came in, Binance is a very matured enterprise in many sense. So under me, really what we are focusing on is to bring it in terms of its further maturity. As I mentioned, first, you are seeing the direction of travel very clear. In the past, there are very few regulations in this space. Now there are much clearer regulations. Having said that, only one third of global regulators are looking at this, right? For ourselves, we have secured our 19th regulatory approval globally in India recently, right? And you know, India is a very big market. Earlier this year, we have secured in places like Kazakhstan full license, Dubai, Thailand, and the list goes on. So we will continue to work very closely with global government. As an enterprise, we have gone from a founder, CEO-led company to a board-led company. So I'm working with our board of directors to chart the journey forward in terms of strategy on those fronts to see how we can continue to serve our users much better. I mean, user continue to be the focus of everything we do. So we continue to roll out product features, enhancement, and to build a best-in-class platform to serve our users. At the same time, investing a lot into compliance. I mentioned in some other forums. Last year, our compliance spend was 230 million US dollars. It was a close to 40% increase compared to the previous year. And this year will go up even more, really because this space is getting much more regulated. There are a lot more regulatory clarity, and we need to invest a lot more into this space. We are glad that we have the financial prowess to continue to do so. And what we intend to do is to make this a competitive advantage for us, right? In terms of not only working with the regulators, but as a form of protecting our users, which is extremely important.
You say competitive advantage, and Altcoin Daily speaks to an audience of over 3 million crypto investors across all social platforms. And I get this question a lot. So I want to ask you, why is Binance better than Coinbase? I don't want to pitch you against each other, but you guys are the elites and people are looking for an exchange.
Right. So I think Brian will say, Coinbase is the best exchange. I think at the end of the day, fundamentally, both of us, Coinbase and Binance, are really supporting our users in their crypto journey, right? We're interested in supporting global deployment. What I will say are the distinguishing strength of Binance is, firstly, we always place user interest first, right? That is paramount for us in whatever we do. So that is a very strong DNA, right? So if you look at our speed of execution, we are always there for users, right? So if you look at throughout the course of this year, we have introduced many product enhancements from things like copy trading to mega draw to super earn to Binance Square, and that list goes on. We continue to innovate very, very quickly. We have a very strong technology and operational team, right? So I think firstly, I think many people don't appreciate that crypto operates on a 24/7 basis. So operational resilience is extremely important, which is something that we place a lot of emphasis in. So if you look at it, we are always there 24/7 for our users, really supporting them wherever they are, right, on that front. I mentioned that we are the most licensed exchange globally now. I mean, we have 19 regulatory approval globally. And, we are quite optimistic by the end of the year, I'm able to announce a few more. We continue to work very closely with global regulators. Security is the other area that I wanted to stress, right? So you have read quite recently, Indodex, which is one of the largest Indonesian exchange, got hacked. Not so long ago, Wazarex, which is one of the large Indian exchange, got hacked. BTC Turk again. So all these are very, very serious, right? In terms, when exchange get hacked. So we invest heavily into our security platform. So our security platform is best in class. Other than that, we do a lot of enhancement to really protect users. So this year alone, through our AI and other techniques that we deploy, which I believe that we are at the forefront of that technology, we help users avoid 2.4 billion in terms of potential losses, right? Through scams, through rug pulls, etc., etc. So we do a lot of things, and we go beyond what the regulators prescribe. We are the first to introduce things like Safu Fund. Now it stands at more than 1 billion, really to protect user interests. So users are always at the heart of what we do. And because of that, I think user has repaid our trust in terms of their trust and confidence in us. We have 220 million users globally. And we have the most diehard Binance, right? So I'm very proud of the communities, the angels out there. If you look at it, that's something that many other platforms don't enjoy, right? So we have many people that truly believe in Binance, that Binance is here to continue to support them in their journey.
What is Binance Exchange's relationship with the BNB token? And has it changed since initial days?
No, it has never changed. So if you look at it, Binance does not control or operate the BNB chain, right? BNB chain is community-led, is decentralized, is censorship-resistant blockchain, is powered by BNB. BNB is the native token that really fuel transaction on the BNB chain, right? So it consists of BNB Smart Chain, of BNB Greenfield, etc. And BNB is necessary to participate in this decentralized on-chain governance on the BNB chain.
Richard, how much of your net worth is in BNB token?
I'm not gonna. I mean, I am heavily lean towards crypto, so I believe in crypto. I started, as I mentioned to you, I started knowing crypto in 2017. Right at that point in time, I was a regulator, and I really believe for it to go mainstream, we need clear regulatory framework. So, and when I was in the CEO of Abu Dhabi Global Market, we became one of the first in the world to come up with a comprehensive regime that provides clarity for crypto players to operate, for users to gain confidence and trust in this sector, right? So I always tell people that I'm the sort of regulators that likes to get very hands-on. I am very pro-innovation, very supportive of growth. And I started then, right? 2017, I started with two accounts with crypto exchanges, starting trading crypto, because I always believe that you need to be in it to be an asset class, to be able to understand the asset class and regulate it effectively. It's just like a banking regulator who does not have a bank account. It's not going to be authentic, right? So I started then. So I have my
I appreciate you playing
really
ball. Yeah.
I'm really in crypto. Yeah.
But could you say how much of your investable assets are in crypto? Are you all in crypto, or do you do traditional markets as well?
No, I'm in my 50s now. So I started my journey accumulating assets in other asset class, right? Securities, bonds, commodities. But I would say that crypto is at least 50% of my portfolio today, right?
That's a believer.
The early days of all those other asset accumulation are still there, including real estate, etc.
Binance today is around 220 million users. How do you get to 2 billion?
Well, I think it's really focused on continue to build the best platform out there to serve our user needs, to continue to look at important use cases and support innovation, making it easier in terms of user interface to come on board, and working with global policymakers to provide clarity into this space, right? And today it is still challenging. Right? We are operating in many countries around the world. The challenge is it is regulated very differently depending on which part of the world you are in. Right? Some deem it as security, some deem it as commodity, some have a unique definition that is a virtual asset, something that is a digital payment token. So it makes deployment extremely difficult. What we do hope is to have a harmonized set of standards globally, but we are working very closely with global regulators. I mentioned only 1/3 of global regulators are regulating this space. Right? So hopefully with greater clarity and with expansion of regulatory remit over time, we are able to serve even more users globally. But this is a very positive year, right? So as I mentioned, I think the approval of ETF, the likes. If you look at 2 years ago, most of the top 100 financial institutions around the world have no crypto agenda. Today is so different, right? The largest money manager in the world, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink, went from a skeptic to a believer. So that is a huge shift in terms of attitude towards crypto. That's why I said this is only the beginning. If you look at many of the wealth managers out there, things people like Morgan Stanley, etc., they are only starting to allow their wealth manager to recommend this product to users. So we're at the early inning.
When you say like to get to that 2 billion, you be very attuned to the customer's needs. Like, what are you building? Is like, what is the business model? More derivatives? Obviously, you guys do everything. Debit cards. Like, what is one thing that's on the roadmap in the future? I know you
What
have derivatives. I'm just saying you're focusing more
Yes,
on that.
yes. So what we do very well is continue to be in close contact with all our different types of users or different category of users, right? So from your high tier VIPs to retail to people in the middle, right? Understanding their needs, and the needs are different in every region. So if you look at some regions, they have much more needs for payments and they use crypto more for payments purposes, right? On that front. So, for Binance Pay, we are very proud that we have, since we introduced it in 2021, we have processed more than 137 billion worth of transaction, right? And those continue to grow very well. So it's really understanding the needs of users. What do they need in terms of product feature for the different parts of it, be it in terms of sport, derivatives, our own products, our pay products, and continue to innovate and continue to add features and think what else are out there in terms of new products and services that we can offer. So we are constantly on the lookout. We are scanning, the global universe and landscape for new products and services that we can offer to our users. But at the same time, understanding user needs is extremely important. So we get very close contact with our users. We hold many different events to get this interaction firsthand. And we really welcome users to tell us what do they want to see more from us. So we have a feedback channel that, we receive a lot of inputs and very valuable feedback. And we process that. And we look at, okay, this makes sense. This is something that we can roll out quite quickly. And when we push through a lot of those innovation, I think some of the features that you see that I mentioned that we roll out this year are things that our users want. So we will continue to do that.
I was at Token 2049 last year in Singapore, attended some of the Binance parties, and just in general, the people love Binance. And I'm not just saying that. Like people, the customers are liking it. So whatever you're doing is obviously working. I have a question for you, big picture ecosystem wise, or just big picture crypto wise. Michael Saylor, Kathy Wood, even CZ at one point all say they believe Bitcoin will eventually hit $1 million. Do you believe this? What are your thoughts?
Well, at a personal level, I certainly hope they are correct. As I mentioned, I'm very partial towards crypto. I'm invested into crypto, so I hope that's correct. But I think at the broader level, what we are focusing on at Binance is really building the best platform out there to serve our users, right? So as long as we continue to do things well, to serve our users right, I think the numbers will continue to grow. As a much broader ecosystem, right? We are at the early inning. So, as I mentioned, institutions are only just starting to come in. And institutions represent a different category of investors, right? So if you buy through ETF, unlike crypto exchanges that operate 24/7 basis, those only trade within a certain number of hours, right? So they represent a different type of users. They probably are users that buy and hold for a very long term. They don't trade as often, etc. But they are important. They bring in a different pool of liquidity, right? And it will cascade down. Crypto is the only asset class, right, that has gone the reverse order, right? Most asset class starts from institution adoption, goes to corporate, high net worth, retail. Crypto has been embraced by retail for the longest period of time, and the rest were just ignoring it. Now we are seeing that shift to say, oh, the rest, okay, this is going to be the asset class of the future. Let's start to look at this very seriously, right? So at a broad ecosystem level, it's very positive. Well, we are seeing again in terms of products, funds are being raised by various VCs, PE funds, fund managers to invest into different areas of the value chain of crypto, investing in each of the subsector. Very exciting. And those use cases coming true will only support the further growth of crypto. Right? Again, then the regulators starting to embrace this space, giving clarity and confidence to users that this is a space that they recognize. Again, that will boost sentiment. So at the broad ecosystem level, it is very positive. Bitcoin, is itself that go through halving cycle, right, every 4 years. So on that front, it's a demand and supply issue, right? So every 4 years, supply will reduce, and what we see in past cycle is, 6 to 12 months after Bitcoin halving, prices, normally go on a uptrend, sometimes a very sharp uptrend, right? So I do think that, this cycle we're going to see, but I don't see anything that suggests otherwise. So we do think that that's going to happen as well.
I know you probably can't answer this because you're a CEO of a major crypto company, but do you think Bitcoin, please tell me no if you can, do you think Bitcoin clears $100,000 top of this cycle?
I can't speculate. I wish I have a crystal
All right,
ball.
that's fair. That's
I,
fair.
I wish I have a
respect it.
crystal ball. I certainly wish so, because as I mentioned, when I invested in crypto.
I have 2 final questions that are, but I just want to make sure, did anything we didn't cover about Binance? Because you are the man to talk to. I really appreciate you sharing your time. What does the audience need to know about Binance in the future?
Well, I think Binance will continue to innovate. Innovation and placing user first is always at the heart of what we do. We will continue to invest very heavily into compliance, given the direction of travel is such that there's going to be much more rules and regulations, and we have the ability to invest in those to make sure that we continue to serve our users wherever they are. And we'll continue to work very closely with global governments around the world, policymakers, to educate them. We spend a lot of time not only educating our users. We always tell our users, do your own research, right? But we also spend a lot of time educating policymakers, law enforcement agents, because there is this misperception that crypto is tied up with money laundering, financial crimes. But if you look at data, right, the amount that goes through crypto is minuscule, 0.0 something percent compared to that space, right? Most of those happens in the fiat space, in the banking space, and in through other sectors, right? So that education is very important because crypto is a traceable technology. I think people have to appreciate that. Unlike fiat, you have $100 million. You start distributing them, you can't trace that, right? But crypto can be traceable. So we spend a lot of time, energy educating them. And hopefully all those will bear fruits. Regulators will come on board understanding this product and see how to come up with a framework that support the innovative aspect, the growth aspect, the FDI aspect of this space, which is extremely important. This is a space for the future. Together with AI, you form the financial infrastructure of the future. At the same time, mitigate the risk aspect of it. So this is something that we will continue to work tirelessly on for our users.
Final question, because I know you're a busy guy. CZ is about to be free after 4 months in prison. Thoughts on that?
Well, we are very happy that he's getting out, right? So I think most of you know the US resolution, CZ, Binance, we paid a very heavy price. I think what's important is that we will learn from that, we get much better. I think even financial institutions with 100 years, 50 years history will breach the laws from time to time. But what's important is to acknowledge past mistakes. We can do much better. We have invested heavily for the future, and we will continue to pivot on that front. But really, users at the heart of what we do. CZ always tell me that always treat your users right, and they will treat you correctly, right? So those are very strong, wise advice from CZ, which I take to heart.
And will CZ have any direct involvement on this back end in Binance, or is it just a new era?
Well, so I think those questions are meant for CZ, that they are not meant for me.
Oh, okay.
But really, those questions can be directed to him, right? So, but CZ is a major shareholder. He has broad shareholders right on that front.
Richard, I appreciate you playing ball with these questions and sharing your time. Thank you, sir. Final thoughts for the Altcoin Daily Army.
Thank you, Austin. So we are at early stage. Let's keep building. Let's make the ecosystem much more vibrant for everybody. A rising tide floats all boat. And we look forward to supporting you and everybody else in terms of the crypto journey. It's an exciting time ahead.